Hey, good morning. My name is John Anderson. I am the Executive Director of Collaboration Project. We are a new nonprofit as of May 2019. However, I have been working and serving in the Madison and Dane County area since the late 90s, which makes me feel old. Collaboration Project exists to foster collaboration between churches for the good of the city and the flourishing of all. And so the idea is that in Dane County, we've identified over 300, about 330 churches so far, and every single one of them wants to do good in the community, and yet often doesn't have the resources or the know-how or the capacity to do that sort of good in a strategic or collaborative fashion. And at the same time, there are these systemic issues along racial and socioeconomic lines that have created significant gaps in the Madison and Dane County area for a long, long time. And there's wonderful direct service providers working to help meet some of those needs and try to change some of those realities. But there's this gap between the churches and the good they want to do and the needs of those who are trying to provide the direct services. And so that's where we come in, is we want to help bridge that gap by bringing people together to learn from one another, share best practice, and when it makes sense to work together. Let me just share one success story so far. So in the fall, we had a gathering of people who are partnering with schools or interested in doing so. About 40 some people showed up from, I think it was 35 different partnerships represented. And these were church folk as well as people from the nonprofit sector in the school district. And in that space, they were sharing ideas, and one of the things that emerged pretty quickly is the realization that a lot of them were doing direct food donation and food service kind of related volunteerism. And so the thought was, hey, what could we maybe do together that would be more effective than what we could do alone? So out of that came the collaborative food drive that took place in December through January, and we had 6 different churches who wanted to be part of it right off the bat. And together they did individual food drives that was designed by and coordinated by Food for Success, which alone was its own collaborative effort made up of the River, Selfless Ambition, and Food for Thought. And so then those churches and members of them came together in January. 70 people showed up at Cherokee Middle School, bringing in over 2,500 pounds of food that night. And they donated it, sorted it, packed it, and then delivered it to the Food for Success folks, who are now going to distribute it throughout numerous different pantries in the Madison School District, as well as part of weekend programs. And those donations and those needs are hopefully an on-ramp into ongoing service and engagement by those churches in the schools throughout the district. And we realize that schools is one of those spaces where the disparities, both along economic and racial lines, is very much felt, and we see opportunities that we can help and make a difference because we love our public schools as well. And so that's just one case in point of what we're up to with Collaboration Project. We've identified 3 focus areas: it's school partnerships, immigration, as well as human trafficking. All those are selected based on numerous different churches involved, as well as wonderful direct service providers. And again, our hope is that we become a connector, convener, accelerator of the great work that is already happening in our community by helping people learn from one another and by finding common ground whenever possible. And so if we are awarded this grant, we will be using it towards our school partnership initiatives, and $3,000 would be enough to help facilitate 2 of the events if they're comparable to what we did in January. And we had numerous churches say that they want to do it again, as well as some approaching us who were not part of it the first time who said they'd love to. And so this grant would help make that possible, along with some other wonderful things that we have going on in our schools. So thanks so much for the consideration. Have a great day.